Good morning, Mr. Don Terris. How are we doing this morning? It's just Weaver, John C. of Roseman, California, being landlocked out here in Antelope Valley, California. Cut to bed concerning about John Hill. Just been trying to find it online. Found one for 2025, but I hadn't seen that one that you're referring to, so I just like to research it for homework. Yeah, there's been a lot of times I probably would want to talk about snarky things, maybe as a younger person. The older I get, I save the snarkier ones for politics. Give me a second here. Have to enjoy every drop of clean water because of the politics are about to screw that over left and right. In regards to a snarky remark for Mr. John Heald, and if I can find an email or blog, I'll send this copy over to him. I don't know why he would do it, except probably to be a gentleman about it. There's only so much you can go on a limb concerning about being a gentleman. Yes, you can't take those kind of remarks because whatever reasons that you've got for it. And if anybody was saying anything wrong about me, I'd say, okay, thank you. Anything else? I mean, you're going to continue the onslaught here. Let's come on. Let's get on with it. Well, you're this and that's and that, and you're this, and all the thing I can say is that all? No, I got things saying about your family. That it? The thing I know about family is I have a hard time dealing with it because when you lose a hell of a lot of people like I have, and family members comes in all shapes and sizes, two-legged, four-legged, and now I get to face my own mortality. So I'm hearing all these people bad-mouthing left and right, and I want a negative reaction from you. Okay, how's this? Does that work? How dare you? I mean, yeah, and if you got that much of a weakened character, and you're that much screwed up in the head, then I don't know why I'm still dealing with an asshole like you in the first place. Go away. Bother somebody else who's got a weaker attitude and a weaker stamina than you. You petulant little petty man, or petty person you are. Petty. And be a smartass about it in the first place. Well, when you got somebody mentally challenged, whether for several months, actually for several decades, we tried swinging over from direct insults to being politically nice and politically correct because of attitudes and things changing left and right. And these days, we've got people not being politically correct, think it's, oh, they'll think about other things about DEI or anything else like that, maybe you're a little liberal, woke, and everything else going on. And one thing I noticed about you, Don, when you do your videos, observation, you don't go for the politics. They're like a landmine, blowing up in people's faces left and right. You're going to say something in the realm of politics, it's going to be blowing you up too at the same time. And regarding to what John Heald had been going through, he'll probably deal with a hell of a lot of comments concerning about supporting and not supporting him, whether or not he's one thing or another. A consistent lunatic saying that he wants and practically begs for attention. So it reminds me of my dog. Hear me out, both you guys. I deal with a senior citizen, over 20 years old. Chihuahua. No, scream. Shirwiener. Part Chihuahua, part Dachshund. Deaf, blind, ear issues, crippled, but with an attitude. She wants because she had been spoiled for nearly 20 years, or not that way anyway, and she expects. She fights like crazy. She's not wanting to lay down, but she will bellyache to me when she is laying down because she don't want to lay down. But she'll lay down when she has to and sleep. Only when I put her to bed. I've had another dog owner that had nearly the same situations with her dog. Hang on a second. She didn't wear after breakfast, Mom. She goes by many names. Mamas. When we got her, she was already pregnant. Gave birth to a Chihuahua. Now, what is that again for a beagle? That's a beagle, okay. So part Chihuahua, part Dachshund, part beagle. Stronger characteristics being Chihuahua and beagle. She got nailed by one. When we got her, we didn't realize she was pregnant at the time we got her. At exactly the time we got her. Because a few hours later, we took her over to the vet and found out she was pregnant, and a few hours later, she gave birth. 8 weeks later, we had to give the baby up. Long story. But after that, we called her mamas. And she's been mamas ever since. I mean, to my mother, before she passed away, she was little girl. She's just mamas to me. And she can be stubborn, she can be prideful, but if she was human, I'd be having a fun time trying to deal with a senior citizen and a caregiver to her and all, of how she'd be doing mentally and physically. Now, how would this rate to the humans that you've dealt with concerning about they're going to get their way by bullying and badgering you? My question, and we're going to be throwing politics in here, and sorry guys, were both of them, or many of them, who were saying mean, rotten things about you, read the book of The Art of the Deal concerning about a gas bag who wrote it? I've said on that one. I rarely write anything to any of you guys. If it's going to motivate me during the COVID time, that was one thing. During these days, my hands are full. And just for the record, I had been a cruiser one time. It was a gift from a travel agent. My mother was accountant and bookkeeping controller. She saved a travel agent money. And the agent gave presents to my mother and my brother and me. Cruises. 2. 3-day to Ensenada, me and my brother. My mother, that night when she got it, she was going to have to leave the next day, packed and ready to go. And it was only a 10-day shot to Mexico. Mexican Riviera. She and a friend of hers packed things up. Next day, we took them all the way to Port of Los Angeles and to the World Cruise Terminal. Guys, I know it wasn't Carnival. I'm sorry, John. This was at the time Princess Cruises, the Sun Princess, before she got recommissioned and reconfigured, and before the original ship got decommissioned and turned into scrap metal. But I saw the lines on this one. If she had a quiver, if she had arrows, she would fly through the air. Elegant, sleek. I drooled. I could have gone on a 10-day just by myself. Of course, I would have to pack very lightly, but I didn't pack anything on this one. Just dropping off Mon, my friend D. And the ladies had a good time. I was jealous. I was drooling. When we were leaving the port, I'm looking back at the mirrors. My brother's like, we stopped that already. I can't help it. I want that ship. John, we got our own. I know, but still. And then about a month or two later, this happened back in 2002, guys. Late July, August. I gotta send a picture. Once I find a picture of me and my brother on the ships, I gotta send you guys some. Yeah, I know, ain't Carnival. I'm sorry, John, but this, I saw the Monarch of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean. Don't start puking, John Heald. I know you're a Carnival man, or a cruise man anyway. Every ship has to have something that makes you feel part of it and it part of you. Pretty glasses on. And it has to make you feel you're special and part of it. I got a video talking about this somewhere on my own channel. A diary of a griever named John Weaver, which is me. And on this one, guys, I got onto the Monarch of the Seas. She may look like a broken down, swankered, gussied up girl. She wasn't as pretty as the Sun Princess. Yeah, give me a second here. Every time I keep putting on Google and doing an image search of the Sun Princess, she looked ugly as shit. I'm sorry. Because she wasn't the beautiful goddess I saw in the water. Docked in birth 93. And there's an image of this girl. And I fell in love with that image. Because she had lines. And she had an angle. And she was sleek. And then there was the Monarch of the Seas. Maybe at one time this particular puppy and beauty had a certain style and class that only sophisticates would enjoy. Maybe. Or maybe somebody would look at it as a cargo hauler. And I saw this one looking like a cargo hauler. And after I got off the ship, I wanted to go back on her again. I try to hold on to the old images of the cruise ship. I said before, I'll have to dig up those images and send them over to you guys. Sorry, allergies are kicking my ass. Give me a second, let me pause. Well, I really not wanted to get gross on you guys. Sorry, apologies. Other ships have their own looks, feel, atmosphere, charm, personality. You just have to find it. Oh, you can see the glitz and glamour of them. But is it the right feel? And some ships have faded into history that actually had, and the only things are is the memories. And Monarch was one of those that got through a refit. A few restaurants remade, so I heard, and a climbing wall in the back, where there wasn't one originally. And yes, I had spent time just walking around the ship on the CD that they actually had before she came back into port. And it made me appreciate for the little vacation I had on there. And Sonata in itself was a journey. It was, woo, no drinking. Just being chased by two-legged wolves who wanted our money. You stay within the tourist trap areas, you might be safe. Go out of the tourist trap areas, life awaits. Especially when there was formal night and they required a tie. They had these ugly looking ties at guest relations. If I had known, I would have packed up a tie. I had a Star Trek tie, well, that would have worked. Anyway. But they were fun times a long time ago. My brother's been passed on since 2018. I myself am trapped in the state of California for reasons. If I could go back on a ship, I would. If I go back on a Caribbean, if I go back on a Princess, the Tiara, if I would go back in with a Carnival Party Hardy, or maybe a Norwegian. But I would go back out there not just for the fun inside. It would be nearly standing at the bow and just feeling part of it. Don, you've been on it too many times. You've gotten accustomed to it. Sometimes I don't think you do enough awe. You already got your own situations happening. That if you happen to wake up in the morning and you're still alive, you're in awe. But when it comes down for a first timer coming on board a ship and then feeling it, not just feeling the ship, it's the waves, it's King Neptune's realm, and realize you are far away from what was recognizable. That the journey that you would take, step beyond the sandy borders, beyond the shoals, and you would be in the mercy of Neptune himself. I'd seen these videos, guys, about different cruisers going from place to place, even in the roughest waters. sometimes I would look at it and say, cool. And other times I'm like, maybe not so cool. But for whatever happens on the seas, you ever been on a small boat, one master, two spars? And on this ship, you're between a rock and a larger landscape. But in a 3 mile area, you're in a position of facing the unknown. And then feeling it in a small boat. And you would feel the waves, the wind. You would know who is the master and who isn't. A fishing trip, several boys and two guys would make. And the boat would sail while the kids would be fishing and one person barking up. Because he couldn't get his sea legs fast enough or the Dramamine wasn't working. I remember turning into a lobster that day, about the only one who got a fish on the boat. I had to talk to kids at school what the hell happened. Very embarrassing for a young kid. But it was an experience I would not replace. I hope one day to go on board a ship. And while people would be drinking and celebrating away when the boat just leaves, I would hope it would be closer to the bow or maybe on top of the bridge. Just stand there. Just drink in the moment. Not drinking, not doing anything. Just stand there. Feeling it. The adventure calling out. And then you hear the thunder and the rumbling out there. They're all too damn drunk because they're hearing horns and music and people having a gay old party, but me, I'll be listening to that voice. Come here, mortal. Once more you challenge my realm. I'll probably tell him, game on. Bring it on, King Neptune. It's not the destination. It's the journey, gentlemen. It's the journey. And every time I see the ghosts on my screen in the form of images, it's like you just want to become one of them. The eternal sailing. The eternal voyage. I am a fool. I'm an old man. I'm 60. Hasn't had the funds for it or the means and opportunity to go forth. I would have to produce ID, and I would have to take care of a few things in the state of California that would allow me to go forth without shackles and chains. I talk too much. Don, John, one day. And one time or another, maybe we'll have that opportunity. Maybe then you'll get to listen. Maybe then you'll hear the voice. If not, get spooked. Be riled and challenged. All you gotta say to the adventure is bring it on. Down your way ahead of it. Bet you hadn't heard him, have you? I want you. That being said, gentlemen, good day.